In this video, we're going to take a look at nL2+, which is an optional update for users of nLII-2. So if you've purchased nLII-2 and you'd like to use this update, just go to the forum, to the nLII-2 board, and there's an nL2+ thread that tells you what you need to do. Essentially, though, you just need to send me an email. For the most part, this maintains all of the functionality of nLII-2 with two exceptions. It's not compatible with Live 7, it requires Live 8, and it doesn't have the function where you could use the buttons as increase-decrease switches. But everything else has been maintained and for the most part improved upon. With the transport controls, the buttons do exactly what they're labeled, even the scene button, which will launch the currently selected scene. The only exception is the loop button. If you press and release that, it will toggle arrangement loop on or off, but if you hold this button down, it functions like a shift button that modifies the function of other controls. And all the transport controls have shifted functions. You've got previous and next locator, switch between clip and track view, undo, clip record, and stop all clips. On the master strip, the fader always controls master level, the knob controls cue level, and these buttons access some additional pages. You've got the knob mode selection page, the navigation page, and if you press both of these, you'll get to the button mode selection page. And we'll talk about each one of those in detail in just a minute. The faders, faders 1 through 8 that is, always control volume for the 8 tracks in the selected bank, just like in the previous version. By default, the knobs control pan. To switch to a different knob mode, press this button here, and then you've got pan and device up here on the top, and then on the bottom you've got 8 sends, send A through send H. Alright? And the knobs in any of these modes can be remapped. So for example, if you only ever use 4 sends, you can remap the knobs in these other 4 send modes. That's 32 knobs basically. You can remap those to whatever you like. Alright, and with both the knobs and the faders, these are completely compatible with Live's takeover setting. So if you've got that set to something other than none, you won't have any parameter jumps when switching between knob modes and banks. You can access the navigation page from any mode by pressing this button here. Alright, on this side you can navigate the grid selector that shows you which group of tracks are being controlled and which group of clips for the clip grid mode. These buttons navigate tracks. Next to that you've got scene up and down. Here you've got tempo adjustment in 1 BPM increments. And then over here you've got device navigation. You can navigate left and right between devices. Alright, if a device has multiple banks you can move between them here. You can turn devices on and off, and you can lock the controls to a particular device or unlock them. By default the buttons control mute and solo, and this works just like it did in nLII-2, except that shift plus the last mute button will unmute all, shift plus the last solo button will unsolo all. In the next mode, this is the clip grid mode, you've got control over 16 clips at a time, and you can launch the top scene with shift plus the eighth button here, and you could stop clips with shift plus the bottom row. In the next mode, you've got select and arm, select tracks and arm them just like in nLII-2. The only difference here is you could select the master track and you can also unarm all. The last button mode, user mode, is exactly how it was in nLII-2.